There is a Poppy Playtime movie coming out, but you'd be forgiven for not remembering. We know nothing about it. I remember when there were only 2 chapters, and around that time we got word that a Poppy Playtime movie adaptation was being produced. About 2 years later we get this image and nothing else yet. Pretty soon we're going to find out if these games that we've been playing for the last half a decade at this point are going to translate well onto the big screen. It's a little daunting and quite an interesting thought process. Will it be animated, live action? Will they have a trilogy in mind like Five Nights at Freddy's? Are there going to be some big names attached? And have plans changed behind the scenes when the company that's producing the movie changed to Legendary Pictures? I don't know where to begin predicting the movie, so I asked all of you, what are your hopes, predictions, expectations for the official Poppy Playtime movie adaptation? And here are just some of your answers. I should mention, when news about the movie starts to come out, like teasers and trailers and stuff, I will absolutely be making videos on those, so subscribe, I would love it if you did, because I'm going to be here for all of that. Thank you again to the amazing KirbysterPlays channel members Austin, Karina, Maria, Sean, Hannah and Vivo. You people are amazing, thank you so much for supporting me. Before we begin, I'm KirbysterPlays, how are you doing? It would be cool if the movie was a prequel to the main game, leading up to the Hour of Joy and ending with the player character driving up to Playtime Co. I really hope that the horror is intense, gory and psychological, with not just fear of the toys, but having empathy for them too. I also want the prototype to be badass. There's a surprising amount to dig into with this one prediction. A lot of the story for Poppy Playtime is in the past. A lot of the story is told through VHS tapes. The mystery is about what happened in the past. There are production notes left around. So I think it's pretty much a given that there will at the very least be flashbacks or a very interesting way of revealing the intricate history of Playtime Co. in this movie. I think that's a given, but a full-on prequel? I'm not sure about that. Having the movie be a full-on prequel would deprive us of reliving a lot of the experiences we had in the games, but I do think at the very least there will be flashbacks and there will be other ways of exploring the past of this establishment. Not only having fear for the toys, but having empathy for them too, comes down to how they explain the story behind how some of these toys are humans and some of the toys are children. A lot of the story behind how toys are made and the Bigger Bodies initiative is actually chapter 3. You can say what you like about chapter 3, I have mixed feelings, and in my mind there are elements where Mob didn't stick the landing, and I think honestly to a degree they would agree as well. I think explaining the process by which toys are created is easier in a film medium anyway, and when Mob are able to convey that there is a real human element here and that children and humans are at the heart of everything, that's where the empathy comes from, and I have complete confidence that they will be able to do that in a movie, animated or live action. And you're also assuming the prototype is in it. I feel like the prototype is post-credit material. I would like to see how unscrapped prototype looks like, basically the toy prototype but a 3D model, and would like to see the toys before they get experimented. Again, a little more about the past. I feel like if we saw the prototype as a toy, it would be in like blueprints or a picture on the wall, but if we do see the prototype, this entire video is speculation, so let's assume the prototype is the main villain. Can you imagine, and this is a little flag I'm putting in the ground now, this is a massive prediction I'm making at this point, the prototype's design in the movie could be different to the prototype in the game, so we get a game prototype and a cinematic prototype. I think that would be awesome. I think the movie will be about the Hour of Joy. Now, it's at this point where I have to compare any prospective Poppy Playtime movie to the Five Nights at Freddy's movies, and I absolutely love those. We are almost 3 FNAF movies deep, and I love them very dearly. However, there are some massive elements of huge importance in the Five Nights at Freddy's games which did not translate to the movie very much at all. I consider the Hour of Joy to be on par with Five Nights at Freddy's Bite of 87, right? Massive, traumatic events that took place in the past that have repercussions that we don't even know the full extent of in the games that we play. We are nearly 3 Five Nights at Freddy's movies deep, and the Bite of 87 has not even been mentioned once. How do you have even one Five Nights at Freddy's movie and not even attempt to mention the Bite of 87? The reason why I mention that is because you can have elements of mascot horror games that are of massive importance that the movies are completely devoid of. Now obviously I do feel like the Hour of Joy will play a part in the Poppy Playtime movie. We've seen it, it's been animated in the past, we've seen it full on, best part of chapter 3 in my opinion, having little insight to the Hour of Joy thing. I believe as a finale or as a consistent flashback sequence, seeing the Hour of Joy in the film would be massively fulfilling, but how violent they make it could have massive repercussions on the age rating. I would be hyped if the movie was titled Project Hour of Joy and the plot is based on the Hour of Joy. So whether or not they base the entire plot around the Hour of Joy, it depends how closely it follows the games. I feel like if the movie is like a reimagining of the games, where a lot of the elements are there but moved around a little, I'll appreciate how the Hour of Joy is looked at then, but then there would be bigger issues to deal with because it's a reimagining. There would be other elements that fans wouldn't like, and it would take the attention away from the Hour of Joy in the court of public opinion. If the movie is a more faithful adaptation, I feel like we need to see more of the Hour of Joy in the film than we have done up to this point. The importance for it, sure it's fine in the games when you're actively working towards something, but the movie, it may only be an hour and a half to 2 hours. We need to see more of the Hour of Joy. In terms of the title, I believe it'll only be Poppy Playtime. If it's more than that, then I will eat my words. I worry that they make it not too scary. I mean, that's one of the biggest lingering questions right now, isn't it? Do you follow that PG rating? Do you follow the broadest audience, not only of hardcore fans, but the broadest cinema-going audience as well? I feel like with Poppy Playtime, again, I'm going to compare it to the Five Nights at Freddy's movies. I feel like it's always good to compare it to those because Five Nights at Freddy's is almost like a pioneer of the mascot horror genre that popularized it for everyone, me, everyone around the world, etc. I feel like the Five Nights at Freddy's movies and the games before them are largely based on suspense, so although they ended up being 12s and 15s and all of that kind of thing, there are elements they were able to do massive justice because of the suspense element. Poppy Playtime is mainly just full-on gore. To put it bluntly, in Poppy Playtime there are just a lot more physical gore elements. There is going to have to be a very big and difficult conversation behind the scenes about whether or not they make this 18, 15, 12, R-rated, unrated, and the path they decide to go down. And that conversation, it's going to have to happen sooner rather than later, and I would be very interested to see the outcome. There will be a Mr. 8 seconds of screen time reference. Can you imagine if they bring back Pianosaurus and he's dead in under a minute? Can you imagine that? And it doesn't even have to be them, it can just be any fan favourite character comes back and then they're killed off immediately. Can you believe that? Together we are Poppy Playtime. Yes. Yes. They have to do it. We get to see Playtime goes past, like before they started the experiments. I mean, that's an interesting element. If you're going back into the past, how far back do you go? Interesting question. Jack Black is the prototype. Oh, let me tell you, you've willed it into existence now. You know, there's a chance. There's a chance that they could cast Jack Black as the prototype. Right now, everything is up in the air. There's a chance. There's a chance. Jack Black as the prototype, oh my god. Huggy Wuggy will exist. I'm being sarcastic. I think, yeah, Huggy will exist. He'll be there. How could he miss out? Brew here with a super massive left field prediction. Once again, my sarcasm is just off the charts. It will end. I mean, personally, I am yet to see a movie that does not end. I mean, aim low and you'll never miss. Why don't we just start predicting that it will have a runtime, it will have characters in it? Yes, Brew, the movie will in fact end. I can guarantee that's one prediction that I'm most confident of. It's going to have a post-credit scene where you hear the prototype say, "Hey, my name's John." Despite how this prediction is worded, it's a great example of what I said earlier in the movie. Not only that there could be elements that are reimagined, but that, you know, I use the example of having a separate movie prototype and a game prototype. There are a lot of elements that could change. Maybe the prototype's name is one of those. I just don't know why they would do it. A prequel would be better than just showing us the games on the big screen, honestly. Well, some people would agree with you. What they have to do is stick the landing with the very first installment in the franchise. This could be the only Poppy Playtime movie there is, as with every production, whether it's independent or a big budget Hollywood blockbuster event film, there's a chance you could only get one. Sequels aren't often greenlit. If the safest route to make the most money and have the most success in a movie space, if that is to make a faithful adaptation to the games, they'll do that. But I feel like people like Mob, they know the fan base is there, they can take some creative liberties. I'm there for that. They know their safe space. I feel like they've got boundaries drawn out. I don't know how much of the story they'll want to do at first between chapter 1 and 5, because it could get very busy. It's strange. In a way, the games on the screen, it's a difficult thing to translate to the movies one-to-one. It all remains to be seen. Those are all of the predictions I'm going to look through today. I am so excited to hear more about this movie adaptation. Stay tuned, I'm going to be making a lot more videos on the Poppy Playtime movie as time goes on. Thank you very much. Subscribe if you would like to. Thank you again to the amazing KirbysterPlays channel members. Bye.